Welcome, my friends, to the Bob and Brad podcast, produced by Bob and Brad, the two most famous physical therapists on the internet. I am Bob, exactly one half of the Bob and Brad team. And today, my partner in crime is actually
Mike Keenetz, PT assistant.
Right, no Brad. But we're going to talk about today, with Ross Clifford. He is the author of the book. Mike, want to say it?
Build your own bulletproof body, all body weight exercises or stretches and foam rolling as well.
You're going to find this really interesting. Here we go. Welcome to the program, Ross Clifford. So I'm a big fan of the book, Build Your Own Bulletproof Body. We'll have a link below. We're going to go on to now how to bulletproof your knees. So what are some common knee problems that these exercises are going to help?
Well, I think you touched on this in an earlier episode, Bob, with the osteoarthritis, one of the most common joints affected. And I would really say most of the exercises in the section on the knee will help with some degree of osteoarthritic change in the knee, because that's probably the major problem. Then you have other things like strains of the ligaments, the cruciate ligaments in particular. And as we age as well, the menisci, the sort of soft cartilages that sit in the knee, they can degenerate slightly as well. So anything that's going to load those in a controlled way, distribute that synovial fluid and help nourish those soft and harder articular cartilages will do a great job in restoring function to the knee.
So what are the goals of the bodyweight exercises for the knees with this book?
So similar to the other topics we've discussed, it's about mobility first and foremost. I think it's range of motion.
Sure.
And then hopefully by restoring range of motion, you can then layer on the strength and the stability. Gotcha. But most people have lost some degree of range. And one of the things that we find when we see a lot of our patients is with an osteoarthritic knee, they often can't quite straighten the knee. They've lost that last bit of extension of the knee, and also bringing the heel towards the bottom in knee flexion. They struggle with that as well. So if you can restore those two movements as much as possible, you will find that you get less knee pain and you should get more knee function.
Seen it many times. So first exercise, your beloved squat.
Yes. Well, as I say, it's the gold standard really. If you can move towards the squat, you've got two things going off, which I didn't mention before about the squat, was you've got range of motion, but it's loaded. So it's not just laying on your back and pulling your knee in towards you and doing it that way. You're actually doing it in a way that eccentrically is loading a lot of the muscles as you go from standing into squatting. And then whilst you're doing that, you're also gently persuading that knee to go into some degree of flexion or knee bend.
Very good.
The next stretch is the quadricep stretch. You actually have it in lying on your stomach position in the book, huh?
Yeah, so I guess that's counterproductive to a lot of what I've just mentioned. I think more for safety reasons, the idea of perhaps having some people some people stand on one leg, particularly if they're of a certain age or have a degree of immobility. There is a risk of falls if you're standing on one leg trying to balance. So this would be a classic example of a level 1 exercise, a real entry level. Yes. Lay on your tummy. Lay on your front, your abdomen. You've also got that nice stretch of the lumbar spine whilst you're laid there in prone on your front. And then the idea is you can, in a controlled way, you can bring the heel towards the buttocks and you can hold that knee flexion. The other benefit to doing it, as we've shown in the book, is that you also get that stretch at the front of the hip as well.
Oh, sure.
And sometimes you'll see this if you've ever asked anybody to do the stretch in standing.
Yep, I see. I know
it. They tend to bring their knee and their thigh forward, so they cheat by releasing the hip so they can get the stretch at the knee.
You could also loop a belt around the ankle, and if you had trouble reaching back. So
wow, that's a great addition. Yeah, absolutely.
Next one, gym ball, hamstring stretch or hamstring curl. I'm sorry, hamstring curl.
Okay. So this is the only exercise in the book where I make a cameo appearance. So all of the other exercises,
I can't even tell.
is Ashley showing his physical prowess.
Right.
But he allowed me to do one exercise.
There we go.
He felt I was physically capable to do this one. So and I was the only one who had a gym ball as well. He didn't have one.
Sure.
So this is one of those exercises where you need a little bit of equipment. But if you don't have a gym ball, you can use a dining chair, and you can put your heels up onto the seat aspect of the chair. And the idea is you're just trying to raise the bottom, raise your buttocks off the ground. And by doing that, you're activating the hamstrings. The benefit of having a gym ball is you can raise the buttocks off the floor, so you've activated the hamstrings at the hip, and then you can start to bend the knee by curling the ball in towards the backside, and then you're now getting a dual action of the hamstrings. You're securing it at one end, and you're activating it at the other.
For those listening, imagine a bridge, but your legs move towards you.
Great description.
The next one we're going to talk about is IT band foam rolling.
Yeah, so ITB is the iliotibial band. Very controversial, widely thought not to be a stretchable entity.
Right.
So a lot of the stuff you read suggests that you could hang off the ITB all day, every day, and it probably wouldn't budge. It wouldn't give at all. So, but the idea is, you might get these lumps of additional sort of scar tissue, collagen building.
Right.
And if you've ever done any work around an iliotibial band, whether it's a manual therapy or even the foam rolling, you'll know it's a very tender spot. It's a very tender area. So my advice if you do the ITB iliotibial band foam rolling is you take as much load and much weight through your arms and through your leg as you need to, placing only enough stress on the ITB as you feel comfortable with. And again, the 3 out of 10 rule is what I advise. So I mentioned this on an earlier episode. So 0 being nothing, 10 being the worst pain you can imagine. Go for your own 3 out of 10. Because I hear a lot of people who will foam roll until tears start to form in their eyes.
Wow.
And they really feel like they're not doing anything unless unless it really hurts. But go slow and steady with the foam roller, particularly around the ITB.
So my understanding with the IPTB is that can often adhere down, and the foam rolling will help that. So
yes, exactly.
So next one is lunge.
The lunge. So you've got balance, you've got the coordination, being able to step one foot in front of the other. Now, in some individuals who might be listening to this, particularly if they're not particularly mobile, they might find that just going into that split stance is enough for them. And that's where they need to work and really work on their balance, particularly if they're at risk of falls. If they can go into that split stretch, that split stance, and they're okay, then the idea is then you start to load the front knee by just taking the back knee down towards the ground. And so the idea is you're getting multiple activation. You're mobilizing the front knee, you're mobilizing the rear knee. You've got one hip that's going into flexion, one hip that's going into extension, and you're working on your balance as well. What more could you ask for?
Well, exactly.
I think we should mention that there's also more exercises and stretches than the ones we're talking about in the book.
Way
and
more.
Your book breaks down each section individually too, for those wondering.
Right.
But do you have
I do sometimes wonder if I've undersold myself and Ashley with this book, because I'm sure some authors would probably have generated 7 or 8 books out of the content that we placed into one book. We tried to make it a sort of a catch-all reference book,
universal,
for people who are just interested in how to rehabilitate or prehabilitate their own bodies, all the way through to perhaps somebody who wants a quick reference as a sports therapist, massage therapist, physical therapist. And we've got all these sections on the shoulder, the hip, the knee, the ankle, the foot, the wrist, and the spine as well. We've condensed it all into one book.
Thank you for taking the time to discuss all these exercises. And again, we want to mention the book. Mike,
do you have a website or anything where people can reach you at? Or social
media? I want to say yes, but I don't know what it is. Ashley would know. But
we'll put it in the description box below if you just want to email it to us.
Right.
Yeah. We'll send you something to post-production.
There we go.
That sounds good.
All right. Any final thoughts you want to give, Ross?
I just want to say thank you both for your time. It's been a pleasure to talk to you both, and I really appreciate this platform and this conversation that we've had today. So thank you very much.
Oh, it's a terrific book. So I suggest
thank you. Very
everybody
kind.
get one. Yeah. Okay.
You've got one already. What more could you ask for?
That's right.
We need two.